Hello and welcome back. For this video we're going to show how to convert between radical and rational exponent forms. Here we have a little diagram of variable x inside, and it's raised to this triangular power. There could be a number in there. And on the outside we have a radical and an index that's got this little box. That could be any number as well. So if we're talking about a square root, that would be a 2. And its equivalency is x raised to the triangle over box. And this is a form of a rational where we have two integer values forming a ratio, and that's what rational numbers are. For our first example here, we have the square root of 5 to the first power. Now, of course, we don't really need this 1 there. I just put it there to represent the triangle, and then the box is represented by the 2. And then we will take that 5, put it in exponential form, 5. And the 1 on the inside represents the triangle, so we'll put it on the numerator. And the index, which represents the box, goes in the denominator. So we have the exponent over the index. We could do the same thing with variables. N raised to the second, this whole thing taking the cube root. So we'll start with our base number n, bring the exponent out as the numerator of our rational exponent, 2, and the index is 3, so the cube root of n to the second is the same as n raised to the 2/3 power. We have another one here where we have two terms inside, or two factors inside, and this bar that's out here, this is like a grouping symbol. It's not really part of the radical sign. So when we go to put more than one factor in our exponential form, we got to take those two numbers and put them inside parentheses like this, and then we take the cube root on the outside and put it as an additional power out here. Now the cube root is equivalent to 1/3 power, just like square root up here was 1/2 power. So we're going to raise this entire thing to the 1/3 power. Now we can't leave it like that because we can still distribute this 1/3 power to both of these terms. I'm going to go ahead and put a little 1 right here on the 5 because the n already has a power of 2. And then we're going to distribute this 1/3 to the power of 1, so 5 to the first raised to the third is equivalent to 5 to the 1/3 power. So power raised to another power, you have to multiply here. And n to the second raised to the 1/3 is equivalent to n to the 2/3 power. So we get 2 over 1 times a third, which gives us 2/3, and that's where our exponent comes from. And this is our conversion right here from radical form. We're going to do another one here where we have two factors underneath, but I also have a factor on the outside. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring that factor on the outside and bring it outside of parentheses and bring our numbers under the radical sign inside. That's our base. And then I want to rewrite this fourth root as a 1/4 power. And then again, I still have to distribute this to both of these numbers. I'm going to go ahead and put a 1 right there. So that will become a times 2 to the first raised to the fourth is 2 to the 1/4 power. And b to the third raised to the fourth is b to the 3/4 power. And then I'm just going to multiply this inside here to make it a little bit nicer, neater. So 2 to the 1/4, a to the first times b to the 3/4 power. We can also go backwards from exponential form into radical form. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring my base number and take the exponent, which is the 5, put it on the 7, and then create my radical symbol. And the index on that is supposed to be a 4, so I'll put a little 4 right there. The rule still works with variables, so I'll bring my base number over, bring my exponent part of it, which is 2, create my radical, and then bring the index of the radical out. And this last one here, we got a 3 on the outside. This is like having the a on the outside, so that's going to be on the outside of the radical. So I'm going to bring my 3 out first, do my radical sign next, bring my index, which is going to be my 5, right here, and then bring the numbers that are on the inside underneath the radical. And this power 1, if we just multiply here to these two numbers inside, we just get to the first power, which is just 6 into the 4th, or 6 into the 5th. One little side note here, we will be working with some negative exponents. So let's say we have n to the second 5 to the negative 2/3 power. And the only thing you really need to know about the negative exponents here is that they represent reciprocals. And most of our problems, we're not allowed to leave negative exponents. So we need to rewrite this without a negative exponent. So I'm going to bring the n to the second down. And I'm going to put a little time symbol because that's what these are doing here. They're timesing together. And this negative exponent, to make it not negative, you need to flip it over. So take the reciprocal of it. So this is over 1. So I'm going to rewrite it as 1 over 5 to the positive 2/3 power. Put a little 1 right here. And now I can multiply these two back together, and I end up with n to the second over 5 to the 2/3 power. So most of our problems, again, do not like to have negative exponents in the problem.